Well, continue with our second delivery of which is the true Church of God, and having tried to give a little or summarized introduction to the theme of debate, we would like today to advance a little more in this ideological uncertainty, and we believe that prior to any declaration, revelation, or knowledge, we must first standardize criteria, 2. Find the scriptural basis, and 3. To allow them to define us the path to follow. It's not a simply and easy thing to do because the problem that we have is a very sensitive problem, very utopic, we'll say, pretty complicated and difficult, because faith is disputed, is glorified, is mentioned, fighted, that it has more than 2 millenniums from its creation. And when we talk of disputes and of struggles, of fights and of wars, well, we have to look for the historical facts that are found in the very history of humanity. In it we can see a pour out, a squandering, an abundance of knowledge about a countless of aspects, we'll say, are shameful, sad, painful, dramatic, and could continue making mention of others and believe that we will redundate in the same thing. Yes, we are clear, or we must be clear, that in order to have a correct perspective of which is the true Church of God, we have to establish some parameters that are, as I believe, fundamental, basic, and necessary. We also have to prematurely declare or clarify, testify, or mention that there are some facts that cannot be taken as correct or as valid. As ascertained in the first delivery, it corresponded to us to make an investigation which we believed back then to be profound, very well connected, we will say, with the reality about the origin of the Church of God. And well, to be sincere, we committed a series of mistakes as a result that we took a bad base to find the truth. To everybody it is known that the beginning of the Church of God dates from the day of Pentecost. That's the agreement that many people have. Others refer to the moment when Jesus the Messiah reveals to Peter that upon that rock was going to build the church. A very questioned theme, by the way. And well, today there exists in the Persian market of the faith industrial quantities of religious groups that self-proclaim themselves as the Church of God. As you can see, this religious entanglement is abundant, complicated, and difficult. Nothing simple, and that makes the study or investigation to become more complex regarding this theme, because the problem that we have is a very delicate one, very difficult. So summarizing, we could take a series of elements and historical data and begin, according to us, the history, to find out which is the true Church of God. But according to the deliveries that we have made in the universe of the podcast that we have been elaborating, we can make some asseverations and very basic conclusions. But to be able to arrive to those conclusions and that basic declarations, we need to establish some points that will not allow us to deviate from the way. And for the purpose, believe that the first passage of the scriptures that could start revealing us which is the path that we must follow, we will take it from the book of John, chapter 7, verse 16, that says the following: Jesus answered them and said, My doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. We see in this passage, in this extraordinary declaration, some elements that are very important when defining which is the true Church of God. The very same Jesus the Messiah allows us to have a three-dimensional panoramic of very elemental aspects. We have that there exists a base that is the doctrine, and this base is subject in an inverse form to two elemental components. One is he who sent him, that is in question mark, that is the one that we have to clear up, and the second one, Jesus the Messiah. That is why he says, my doctrine, that is the base, is not mine, but his that sent me. That already gives us a little panoramic, a little clarity to where we are heading to. We already know that the base to the inverse is the doctrine, and that to the extremes of that base of an inverted pyramid, we find in one side a question mark and to the other side Jesus the Messiah. So our duty is to clear that question mark, to have the complete inverse pyramid. As you can see by the text that we have chosen as a base to try to introduce ourselves and resolve the question of which is the true Church of God, it begins to show a slight sign of clarity that we are not interested in knowing when supposedly the Church of God was founded, but we are interested in knowing which is the true Church of God, because as we have said, there exists an extraordinary amount of religious groups in the Persian market of religion that self-proclaim themselves to be nowadays the Church of God, without ceasing to mention that religious groups continue pouring out, self-proclaiming to be the Church of God. We always remind you that you can visit our webpage churchofgod.tk. There we have a richness of material that you can look after, that you can check, that can help you in the search of the truth. Also, you can write us to our email, thelastchurch7, 7 in number, okay, gmail.com, to let us see your concerns and doubts. We will try to give to this theme a determined proportionality of time, so it can allow us to arrive where we want to arrive, not where we would like to arrive, but where we want to arrive. That is where the truth is. That is why we invite you to the next delivery to continue analyzing and studying this theme, and to give it the perspective that corresponds, and that together we can find the truth of the things. Beforehand, we appreciate the attention given and we hope to meet again.